Pay or leave right now, or else you ain't staying in this house anymore.
The words didn't come as a warning. They came like a verdict. You heard your father, my mother said, her voice sharp, final. Either you pay, or you leave this family. Right now. The room went silent. Not the peaceful kind of silence. The kind that presses against your chest, until breathing feels like a mistake. I stood there, fingers still wrapped around my phone, trying to process what had just happened. This wasn't a conversation anymore. This was a demand. And worse, it wasn't new. It started 3 weeks ago. That was when my younger brother, Malik, crashed his car. Not just any car, a luxury SUV he had no business driving, paid for by money he didn't earn, living a life he never built. The accident left him with a broken leg, and a hospital bill that made my father's voice shake for the first time in years. 4.8 million Nigerian nairas. That was the number. That was the price suddenly placed on the table like a test, or a trap. At first, I thought we would handle it like a family. We always talked about family, didn't we? Support, loyalty, sacrifice. That's what they preached. That's what I believed. So when my mother called me that night, her voice trembling, I didn't hesitate. Amora, she said, we need your help. I didn't even ask how much. That was my first mistake. Because help quickly turned into expectation. And expectation turned into pressure. Then pressure turned into something else entirely. Something colder. Something heavier. You're the only one who can do this, my father told me 2 days later, sitting across from me like a man making a business deal instead of speaking to his daughter. You have savings. You have that promotion. This is why we invested in you. Invested. The word didn't sit right. Not daughter. Not family. An investment. I can contribute, I said carefully. But I can't cover everything. That's too much. That was when the shift happened. I saw it in their eyes. Not disappointment. Not understanding. Resentment. You can't, my mother repeated slowly. Or you won't. That question followed me home. It sat with me while I stared at my bank account. Yes, I had money. Years of working late. Years of saying no to vacations, no to comfort, no to anything that felt unnecessary. I built that safety for myself. For my future. For the life I was still trying to secure. But now, that future had a price tag. And it wasn't mine. The calls didn't stop after that. They came every day. Morning. Night. In between meetings. Each one heavier than the last. Your brother is suffering. Do you want him to lose proper treatment? After everything we've done for you. That one always came with weight. After everything. As if love was something that could be measured, then collected like a debt. Then came the message that changed everything. Not a call. A message. Short. Direct. Unforgiving. Come home tomorrow. We will settle this once and for all. So I went. Because part of me still believed this could be fixed. That maybe, just maybe, they would understand. That they would see me. Not my money. Not my success. Me. I was wrong. The moment I stepped into the house, I felt it. The air was different. Heavy. Deliberate. Like something had already been decided. My father didn't greet me. He just pointed to a chair. Sit. My mother stood by the window, arms folded. Malik was there too, leg in a cast, scrolling through his phone like none of this had anything to do with him. No one asked how I was. No one smiled. No one hesitated. We've discussed it, my father began. This is what needs to happen. My chest tightened. Not let's talk. Not what do you think. This is what needs to happen. You will transfer the full amount, he continued. By the end of today. Just like that. 4.8 million Nigerian nairas. My entire safety. Gone. I told you, I said slowly, my voice steadier than I felt, I can't do that. Silence. Then my mother turned. And the look in her eyes. It wasn't anger. It was something worse. Disappointment. mixed with something that felt like rejection. Then you leave, she said. I blinked. What? If you cannot stand for this family when it matters, she continued, her voice rising, then you have no place here. My father didn't even look at me when he said it. Either you pay, or you leave this family. Right now. And just like that, everything I thought I had, every memory, every sacrifice, every moment I believed we were something real, collapsed into a single choice. Pay, and lose myself. Or walk away, and lose them. My throat tightened. My hands trembled. My heart broke in a way I didn't know was possible. Because the hardest part wasn't the money. It was realizing I was never being asked. I was being tested. And deep down, I already knew something they didn't. Something that would change everything. But if I said it out loud, there would be no going back. So I stood there, between the life I built, and the family that was ready to erase me from it. And for the first time in my life, I hesitated. CTA. White right pointing backhand index. If you were in my place, what would you do? Pay everything, or walk away from your own family? I didn't answer them that day. I couldn't. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I finally understood something I had been avoiding for years. This was never going to be enough. I need time, I said quietly. My father's jaw tightened. For what? He snapped. To decide if your family is worth saving. Family. That word again. Used like a weapon. I said I need time, I repeated, this time firmer. For a moment, I thought he would argue. Push harder. But instead, he leaned back in his chair and gave a slow, cold nod. Fine, he said. You have 24 hours. 24 hours. To either prove I belonged, or accept that I didn't. After that, my mother added, her voice almost calm now, we will act accordingly. Act accordingly. They didn't say what that meant. They didn't need to. I could already feel it. The distance. The separation. The way they had already started letting me go, before I even made a choice. I left the house in silence. No one followed me. No one called my name. And Malik. He didn't even look up. That was the part that stayed with me the most. Not the ultimatum. Not the amount. But the fact that the person I was supposed to sacrifice everything for didn't even care enough to acknowledge it. That night, I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my laptop screen. At the number. 5,230,000 Nigerian nairas. Everything I had. Savings. Emergency fund. Years of discipline. Every no I ever said to myself. Every sacrifice. And all it would take was one transfer. One decision. And it would all be gone. But something didn't sit right. Not just emotionally. Logically. Malik didn't have a job. We all knew that. But what didn't make sense was the car. The lifestyle. The spending. I leaned back slowly. Thinking. Connecting dots I had ignored before. Where did he even get that car? I whispered to myself. That question led me somewhere I didn't expect. The next morning, instead of going to the bank, I made a call. Hello? My friend Tunde answered, his voice still rough from sleep. Tunde, I need your help. Tunde worked in insurance. Not the flashy kind. The kind that saw everything. Accidents. Claims. Paperwork. Truth. I need you to check something for me, I said. There was a pause. Then a sigh. Amora, this sounds like trouble. It already is. An hour later, I was sitting across from him, watching his expression slowly change as he scrolled through his system. Amora, he said carefully. You're not going to like this. My stomach tightened. Just say it. That car your brother crashed. He turned the screen toward me. It wasn't his. I frowned. What do you mean? I mean, he continued, the car is registered under someone else's name. My heart skipped. Who? Tunde hesitated. Then exhaled. Your father. The room went still. That's not possible, I said immediately. He told me Malik bought it. Tunde shook his head. No. And there's more. My chest tightened. More. The insurance claim, he continued, scrolling again. It was filed, then withdrawn. What? It means they started a claim process, then cancelled it. Why would anyone do that? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Tunde didn't answer immediately. He just looked at me. The kind of look that says everything, without saying anything. And that's when it hit me. They could have handled this. There was insurance. There was a process. There was another option. But they didn't take it. Instead, they came to me. Not because I was the only option, but because I was the easiest one. My hands slowly curled into fists. All this time, I whispered. I wasn't helping. I was being used. And suddenly, the choice didn't feel the same anymore. It wasn't just pay or leave. It became something else. Something deeper. Something sharper. Do I give everything to people who were willing to take it, even when they didn't have to? Or do I finally choose myself and face whatever comes after? My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. Time is running out. I stared at it for a long moment. Then slowly, I picked up my phone. Not to reply, but to make another call. Because if they wanted a decision, I was going to give them one. Just not the one they expected. CTA. White right pointing backhand index. Now be honest. If you discovered this truth, would you still pay? Or would you walk away? The clock was ticking. Loud. Relentless. Every second felt like it was pushing me closer to something I couldn't undo. 24 hours. That's all they gave me. And now, it was almost gone. I stood outside the house again. Same gate. Same walls. Same place I once called home. But this time, it didn't feel like mine anymore. My phone buzzed. Another message from my mother. If you're not here in 10 minutes, don't bother coming at all. I stared at it. No warmth. No hesitation. Just a deadline. I took a deep breath. And walked in. They were already waiting. Exactly how I left them. My father sat in his usual chair, arms crossed. My mother stood beside him. And Malik, still on his phone, laughing at something on the screen. For a second, I just stood there, watching them, seeing them clearly, maybe for the first time. You're late, my father said coldly. I'm here, I replied. That was enough. Well, my mother stepped forward. Have you made your decision? There it was. No small talk. No pretending. Just the choice. I swallowed slowly. My heart was pounding so hard, I could feel it in my throat. I did, I said. For the first time since I walked in. Malik looked up. And suddenly, all eyes were on me. Good, my father said. Then let's not waste time. He leaned forward slightly. Did you bring it? I didn't answer. Instead, I reached into my bag and pulled out my phone. Their eyes followed every movement. Expectation. Relief. Even satisfaction. They thought they had already won. I have something to say first, I said quietly. My mother frowned. What is there to say? Just transfer it. I shook my head. No. That one word changed the air. What do you mean no? My father's voice hardened instantly. I mean, before I make any decision, I continued, my voice steady now, I needed to understand something. They exchanged a glance. Confused. Annoyed. What are you talking about? My mother asked. I held up my phone. The car Malik crashed. I paused. Was never his, was it? Silence. Real silence. The kind that exposes everything. Malik's expression changed first. Then my mother's. But my father. He didn't react. Not immediately. What are you implying? He asked slowly. I'm not implying anything, I said. I'm asking. Still silence. So I continued. It was registered in your name, I said, looking directly at him now. And there was an insurance claim that you withdrew. This time. He reacted. Just a flicker. But I saw it. My mother stepped in quickly. Where did you hear that nonsense? It doesn't matter, I replied. What matters is, it's true. Her face tightened. So let me understand this, I continued, my voice rising just slightly. You could have handled this. There were other options. But instead. I looked between them. You came to me. No one spoke. Not because you had to, I said. But because you wanted to. The truth hung in the air like something heavy. Unavoidable. Malik scoffed suddenly. Oh please, he muttered. Why are you making this a big deal? Just pay and stop acting like a victim. I turned to him slowly. And for the first time. I felt nothing. No anger. No guilt. No obligation. Just clarity. Say that again, I said quietly. He rolled his eyes. I said. That's enough. My father cut in sharply. Then he looked at me. And whatever softness I once believed he had was gone. None of that changes anything, he said. You still have a responsibility to this family. Responsibility. I let out a small, breathless laugh. A responsibility. I repeated. Yes, my mother snapped. Or did you forget who raised you? There it was. The final card. Everything they had ever done for me. Repackaged as a debt. Something inside me broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Completely. I didn't forget, I said softly. I took a step forward. I remember every sacrifice. Every lesson. Every moment you told me family comes first. My voice trembled slightly. But I didn't stop. But I also remember something else. They were watching me now. Carefully. You taught me to work hard. To build something of my own. To stand on my own feet. I paused. So that's exactly what I did. Another step forward. And now, you're asking me to destroy all of that. For a problem you could have solved another way. My father's expression darkened. So this is your answer? He asked coldly. I looked at him. Then at my mother. Then at Malik. My family. Or at least, the people I thought were. And in that moment, the choice became clear. Not easy. Not painless. But clear. I took a deep breath. Then finally said the words. That would change everything. I choose. White right pointing backhand index pause right here. If you were in my place, what would you say? Speech balloon pay everything, and keep your family. Speech balloon or walk away, and keep yourself. White down pointing backhand index tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Fire and if you love stories that test your decisions like this. Subscribe to TCS, The Choice Stories, where one choice changes everything. I choose. The word sat on my tongue. Heavy. Final. For a split second. I saw it. A different version of this moment. Me saying yes. Me opening my phone. Me transferring everything. And them. Relieved. Grateful, maybe. But that version of me wouldn't exist anymore. So I exhaled slowly. And let it go. I choose myself. Silence. Not shock. Not anger. Something colder. You what? My mother whispered. I'm not paying, I said, steady now. Not like this. Not under pressure. Not when I know the truth. My father stood up instantly. The chair scraped loudly against the floor. Then you've made your decision, he said. I have. His eyes locked onto mine. Hard. Unforgiving. From this moment on, he continued, you are no longer part of this family. The words hit. Harder than I expected. Even though I saw it coming. It still hurt. My mother turned away. Like she couldn't even look at me anymore. Leave, she said. Just one word. Malik laughed under his breath. Actually laughed. Finally, he muttered. Drama over. I looked at him. Really looked at him. And for the first time in my life, I didn't recognize him. Not as my brother. Just someone who never cared. I nodded slowly. Okay, I said. No shouting. No begging. No tears. Just, okay. I turned, walked to the door, and paused. Because something inside me refused to leave like that. Not broken. Not defeated. So I turned back. One more thing, I said. They didn't respond. But they were listening. You're right, I continued. You did raise me. My voice was calm. But every word carried weight now. You taught me how to survive. How to think. How to build something from nothing. I held my father's gaze. And today, I'm finally using it. A flicker of something crossed his face. Doubt. Goodbye, I said. And this time, I walked out. For real. No one stopped me. No one called my name. And just like that, it was over. Or at least, that's what they thought. 2 weeks later, everything changed. I was at work when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Is this Amora Okoye? Yes. This is the bank. My stomach tightened. We need to speak with you regarding an account linked to your name. My name. I frowned. What account? There was a pause. An account your father listed you on, as a secondary holder. My heart skipped. I didn't authorize that. We understand, the voice replied. That's why we're calling. What's going on? I asked. Another pause. Longer this time. Then. The account is overdrawn. My chest tightened. How much? Naira 3.2 million. The world went quiet. They defaulted. The voice continued. And since your name is attached, you're legally involved. I felt the ground shift beneath me. Even after I left, they still found a way to pull me back in. To take. To use. My hand tightened around the phone. That was the moment something changed. Not emotionally. Not painfully. Strategically. Because now, this wasn't just about family anymore. This was about survival. And if they wanted to play this game, then they had just made a very big mistake. White right pointing backhand index. Now think carefully. If your own family tried to trap you like this, what would you do next? Speech balloon. Walk away completely. Speech balloon or fight back, and take control? White down pointing backhand index. Drop your answer in the comments. Fire, and don't forget to subscribe to TCS, The Choice Stories. Because here, one decision doesn't just change your life. It decides who you become. I didn't panic. Not this time. Weeks ago, I would have. I would have cried. Begged. Tried to fix something that was never mine to fix. But now, I understood the game. They didn't just want my money. They wanted access. Control. A way to keep pulling from me, even after I walked away. And somehow, they thought I wouldn't fight back. They were wrong. Send me everything, I told the bank calmly. All documents. All signatures. Every detail tied to that account. Of course, the voice replied. That same night, I sat at my table. Laptop open. Documents spread out. Line by line. Signature by signature. I went through everything. And then I saw it. The moment everything shifted. My name was there. Yes. But the signature. It wasn't mine. Not even close. My father had signed it. For me. I leaned back slowly. Heart steady. Mind clear. This wasn't just manipulation anymore. This was fraud. And suddenly, I had something they didn't expect. Power. The next morning, I went back to that house. Same gate. Same walls. But this time, I wasn't the one being called. I was the one knocking. My mother opened the door. And the moment she saw me, her expression shifted. Not warmth. Not relief. Fear. What are you doing here? She asked sharply. I came to talk, I said. She hesitated. Then stepped aside. Inside. Everything looked the same. But it didn't feel the same. Because this time, I wasn't walking in as their daughter. I was walking in with the truth. My father stood when he saw me. "You've got some nerve coming back here," he said. I didn't respond. I simply placed a folder on the table. "What is this?" he asked. "Open it." He did. And as his eyes moved across the pages, I watched it happen. That shift. Confidence. Turning into tension. Tension. Turning into realization. "You forged my signature," I said quietly. Silence. My mother looked between us. Confused. Then scared. "You used my name without my consent," I continued. "And now that account is in debt." My father closed the folder slowly. "You don't understand," he started. "No," I cut in. "You don't understand." For the first time, my voice didn't shake. "You gave me a choice," I said. "Pay or leave." I stepped closer. I made mine. His jaw tightened. "And now, I'm giving you one." The room went completely still. "If my name is still attached to that account by the end of today," I said, "I take this to the authorities." My mother gasped. "You wouldn't." "I would," I said. And this time, they believed me. Because I wasn't the same person who walked out of that house weeks ago. I wasn't asking anymore. I was done. That evening, I got the call. "Miss Okoye," the bank said, "your name has been removed from the account." Just like that. No arguments. No delays. They folded. Because for the first time, they had something to lose. Days passed. Then weeks. No calls. No messages. No apologies. Just silence. And strangely, that silence felt better than anything they had ever said to me. Because it meant one thing. I was finally free. Not from the money. From them. I stood in my apartment one evening, looking around at everything I had built. Every sacrifice. Every decision. Every moment that led me here. And for the first time, it all felt like mine. No pressure. No guilt. No invisible debt hanging over my head. Just peace. Sometimes, people think the hardest choice is choosing between others and yourself. But the truth is, the hardest choice is realizing you were never part of the choice to begin with. White right pointing backhand index. So tell me, what would you have done? Speech balloon paid everything to keep your family. Speech balloon or walked away and risked losing them forever. White down pointing backhand index. Drop your answer in the comments. Fire. And if you love stories like this, where every decision has a price, subscribe to TCS, The Choice Stories. Because here, one choice doesn't just change your life. It reveals who you really are.